All right, welcome to my weekly live. If this is your first time joining and watching, welcome. Thank you for being here and spending a little time with me. This is where I break down different concepts that will support you on your journey towards healing, towards wellness, towards creating a life filled with meaning and purpose, and whatever else comes up, whatever else is in between. My name is Francis. I'm a trained therapist and a life coach. Some people call me a therapy coach. I'll take it. And my mission in life is just to help women remove emotional blocks so that they can thrive, get unstuck so that they can do the things that matter to them the most. I can't believe I'm on my last live, guys, the very last live. When I started doing these lives 3 months ago, I did so to challenge myself, mainly because I don't like to be in the forefront of things. I like to work behind the scenes, but I knew that this was something that I needed to do. This was a growth area for me, and I knew that in order for me to reach all of you with the message that I wanted to share, with all the messages, I should say, that I wanted to share, that I had to get out of my comfort zone, right? And I had to do these lives very badly at first so that I could eventually get better. And I remember posting something not too long ago that said that, have the courage to suck at something new. And that post received a lot of engagement and it started a conversation. So I want you to keep that quote in mind as we go through today's live. And so today's live is all about taking risks. I'm not a huge risk taker, believe it or not. I'm more of a cautious, contemplative risk taker. And then once in a while, I might be impulsive and do something, risk. Sorry, guys. That was I don't know how that looks on your end, but that was the delivery because we ordered some food. Hold on a second as I scream. Karan! He's outside. Well, it is a live show, guys. So it is what it is. What was I saying? I was saying I'm not a risk taker. I'm not like a 0 to 100 kind of person. But I realized in order for you to make anything in your life come true, that you've got to take a level of risk. Sometimes my clients, they say, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. And it's not that they don't know, because usually after having a few conversations, they have an idea. What it is like that fear, right? The fear of taking that risks. So it's usually them. It's the fear that is between where they are and where they want to be. That's really getting in the way of them actually doing the thing that they want to do. And what that translates to is that they're afraid to take risks. And the difference between successful people and everyone else, which I don't like to use that delineation, but when we tend to admire people who are doing the things that we love to see, or the things that we wish that we could do also, is that they're just willing to take more risks. That's really the differentiating factor. And they're willing to bet on themselves more often than not. And that's the kind of mindset that you need to have if there is something that you really want to pursue and create in this lifetime, the one and only lifetime. There's a section in my book that I'm currently writing where I write about how we discount ourselves before we even start to play the game. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever had this opportunity, but before you can even engage in the opportunity, you've already talked yourself out of it? I know I've done that in the past, right? And sometimes I have to catch myself. I'm like, oh, okay, slow it down there a little bit. It's just fear, right? It's self-doubt. It's the inability to let things go. Let things go that you can't control. Let go of uncertainty. But let me tell you, something that is interesting is that the more that I take risks, the more my life gets really interesting. The more that I put myself out there, the more gains I receive, the more rewards that I seem to get, and the more opportunities that seem to present themselves just by taking a little bit more risk. Here's the thing. Inaction leads to absolutely nowhere. Yes, genius guy, that's right. Fear is huge, but fear is also feedback, right? So one of my favorite quotes, and I always say, this is one of my favorite quotes, right? Every time before I share a quote, because it's my favorite quote. Like I got like 100 of them. Is that mistakes are proof that you're trying. Granted, I don't believe that there are mistakes. There's just only feedback, right? When you do something, you find out whether it's working, whether it's not working, whether it's right, whether it's good for you, whatever. So you have the option in your life to currently look at the things that you want to do and either take that risk or not take the risk. But then you have to ask yourself, what are you fearing the most? What would happen if you did not take that risk? What is that opportunity cost, right? There's this fear setting exercise I like to do with my clients, my group coaching clients, where I take them through this logical formula that they can use to process that fear, to either reduce it or eliminate it completely. But for me, the biggest fear that I have is regret. I don't want to regret nada. You know what I mean? I refuse to one day wake up and say, damn, I wish I did this. Or, what if I just did that? And what would have happened if I, said yes to that thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have any regrets. And so you have to put yourself out there for the things that you want to manifest in your life. There's just no way around it. I'm sorry, okay? You have to, whether it's relationships, whether it's your career, and even when it comes to just like trusting faith, even with faith, you have to put yourself out there, right? Because having faith means that you're believing in something before you can actually see it. So it takes a bit of courage to do that, right? And so another quote that I like that's usually specifically pertains to entrepreneurs, but it's also a quote that we can apply to in our everyday lives is that, let me see where I lost my place, is that, if you're going to fail fast, fail very, very fast, fail quickly, fail as quickly as you can, because the quicker that you fail, the quicker that you get to the insights that you need to move forward, to continue the momentum, the quicker you get the feedback, and the quicker that you can strengthen some of the skill sets that, may have revealed some gaps, right? But if you are too afraid to take a risk, if you are so afraid that the risks are so far and few in between that each time when you're getting ready to take that risk, you're going to be gripped with fear. So part of the whole failing fast process is that the more that you do it, the easier it gets. You start feeling a little bit better about it. It starts to make sense to you when you start to take more risks. For example, if you're an entrepreneur and you have to get yourself out there, right? You have to get yourself out there to get clients. You have to create the content. You have to literally put yourself out there to be seen. You have to be visible, okay? And you can design the risk map any which way that you want to, right? You just have to create one. It doesn't have to look like anything that anyone else did. It could be absolutely personalized to you and your comfort level. Creating a risk map allows you to focus on the small ways, again, the micro ways, which is what I love to talk about. What micro ways can we practice some of this stuff, and what micro ways can we practice being a little bit comfortable to taking risks on a small scale. So for example, when I decided to do the lives, I wasn't going to do no live every day, but I knew I couldn't do it every month, once a month, right? So I was like, okay, in what ways can I do these lives that even though it feels a little bit scary and uncomfortable, that I can, eliminate some of this fear and start taking this risk. So for me, it was like once a week. And then I was like, man, I don't want to be here for 20 minutes talking. I was like, let me just do it for 5 minutes. Then 5 minutes turned to 15. And then one day I had a 20-minute live and I was like, child, what was I talking about for 20 minutes? But you see the progression, right? It was real quick, like 5 minutes. I rushed through it. I was like, sweating and all this stuff. But then I just did it. And now the 12th live. And I feel really, really comfortable in front of you guys now, right? I still, using my notes because I ramble, as you can see. But I promise you that the more risks that you take in your life, the closer that you will get to the things that you want. Again, you can take calculated risks and still continue to inch forward. It's all about momentum, right? But when you don't take risks at all, when you risk doing nothing, where does that really lead you? Like, where do you go from here? So my message for you for this live, on my last 90-day live challenge, is take more risks with your life, please. Wherever you are in life and whatever it is that you're trying to do, ask yourself, where in my life, take an audit, do an audit, ask yourself, where in my life can I just be a little bit more courageous? You know, Maya Angelou said, you know, the biggest, the most important trait that we can have is courage, because it's from courage that we can do everything else, right? So again, the earlier quote, be courageous enough to suck at something new. You know, I want to leave you with this message because it won't feel great at first, like when you first try. You know, you might stumble a bit, you might not get all the words correctly or whatever it is. But one thing that I learned from some of the writing workshops that I did, because, you know, we have this imposter syndrome, right? Is that be okay with writing a shitty book. It might be shit, you know, but that's okay, because the first time it's all about like getting all the nerves out, getting all that practice out. And it's not really about the results. It's never about the results. Obviously, we want to create like the best thing, but it really is about the journey, and it's about who are you becoming along that journey, right? What skill sets and what mindset are you creating just by being on this journey alone? Because the more that you do that thing, the better you get at it, the faster you go, the clearer you get. And then you get a different perspective, and everything widens with opportunities when you take more risks. You get better each and every time. So I'm challenging you to leave a comment and let me know, what calculated risks are you willing to take for the thing that matters the most to you? And what is something that you've been wanting to do, but you're afraid to take that risk, so that I can support you and cheer you on in the comments. So that's my message for this live today. But just a few things before I get off. I like doing these lives. I'm going to continue to do them. I may switch to days just because my weekdays are getting a little bit busier. So I might do it on the weekends, but I'll keep y'all posted. But I kind of liked it. Look at that. Also, I just want to mention that, as I've spoken to in my last live, I am in the process of writing a book. I sent the first half of the book to my editor, and the second half is going to be finished this week. So my goal was to have the entire book to my editor before my 40th birthday, which is in 2 weeks. And it looks like I'm steadfast on that goal. But in the bio, if you would like to be on the waiting list to pre-order the book, you can do that. There's a link. Just go in there. You don't have to pay for anything. All you have to do is just sign up. All right. Risk is moving abroad. What is the risk genius? Is it genius guy? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. You're afraid about moving abroad? And you mean like right now, because we're in a pandemic, or just pre-pandemic? You've always kind of been afraid to move abroad? You know, I was too. And I talk about my abroad story in 2016. I bought a one-way ticket. I went to Thailand. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anyone else. Now they have, you know, a bunch of groups. I also have a travel podcast called Chronicles Abroad, so you can get some inspiration there. Now they have a bunch of travel groups, Black Americans Abroad, Black in Tulum, Blacksit. So if you are nervous about moving abroad, these are the groups that you can get in touch with to get inspiration. Leaving by January, where are you going? Where are you headed? What makes you most nervous about it, I guess? Is it like the community? Hi, Lily. I'm actually moving overseas in 2 weeks. 2 weeks I'm going back abroad. which I'm very excited about. Mexico, we're in Mexico. Everybody and their mama going to Mexico. I love Mexico. Right now, it's one of my favorite countries as of right now. Mexico is a great place to transition to. It's close by. If that's the first, if that's your first stop, it almost felt like I grew up in Boston, so we have neighborhoods, Latinx neighborhoods. It felt like I was just in one of the neighborhoods, well, obviously depends where in Mexico, leaving your children behind. That's a tough one. I'm a parent too. I don't know how old your kids are, but on the podcast, me and my co-host were both parents. She has two kids. I have a son. My son's a lot older, but there is that feeling about leaving them behind. So I definitely understand some of the guilt that you might be feeling, or some of the hesitations that you might be feeling. But send me a DM. I'm happy to chat with you about it, so that we can get a little bit more. I can give you a little more tips about that. But thank you for watching my live, guys. I am done. What's up, Dana? You came towards the end, child. I'm done. It's over. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll keep y'all posted. Thank you for being here, guys.